Welcome back to the Go&Do podcast.
Episode 6.
6 is on the way. For this episode, we got my boy, Logan Richardson. Logan is a lifelong friend. Me and Cakes have known him for quite some time. Him and Connie go way back, about 10 minutes or so. So we're excited to have Logan here. Logan, please just take us through your mission overview, the years you served, where you served, and just kind of the grand overview of your mission, of those 2 years of your life.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I served 2021 to 2023. I was originally assigned to the Peru Huancayo mission, a little lesser known mission, geographically huge, but population tiny. And then
really, okay.
Yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah.
But and then I was reassigned because it was like right at the end of COVID. So I got reassigned to the Arizona Scottsdale mission, which has since been revamped into the Flagstaff and the Phoenix mission.
Okay. So you were in Peru first and then in Arizona?
No. It was Arizona for about 10 months, and I was in Peru for about 14.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. And so just to start it off then, let's get right into it. Take me to the day that you opened your mission call. What were the feelings when you read that call, and like what was going through your head, and did you want to maybe serve foreign or speak Spanish or anything like that?
I was honestly like fearful to speak foreign because like as is, I always with the mission was like, well, if I get the revelation, I'll go. And then I eventually had like that kind of like come to Jesus moment with it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. And my mom, as like we were getting up to that point where it was like, all right, like you're gonna get your call, my mom was adamant that I was just gonna open it without her knowing. And she was pissed. Like every time, you better not, I swear. I was like, all right. And so I remember the day that I woke up. It was like 11 a.m. on like a Tuesday. I look at my phone. I got in the text. Went to like I was walking around downstairs. My mom comes down the stairs and she was like, "Oh, did you get your mission call yet?" Because like they come out and like it's like, yeah, I got it. She's like, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, Buenos Aires South." And she was like, "You turd." But really, so I was like, "No, of course I didn't do it." Like I was like, whatever. But I made sure I wanted to open up as quickly as possible because my grandma, who's not a member, was there and she was leaving that day. And so I was like, all right, like let's have like a fun little like experience moment. So I just kind of pulled up on the couch. The video is the most like anticlimactic video of all time because like everyone's sitting there. I felt like we were like sitting like watching and I was like, all right. And I was the most monotone I could be. Like my sister Hallie wasn't even on the Zoom call because she was working, like she couldn't get on in time, but I just kind of opened it up. I was like, hey, you've been called to the Peru, and Huancayo is spelled like Huan.
Yeah, when you sent it over, I was like, I'm not even gonna try.
No, it was crazy. I just like looked up like Juan, because I was like Juan, like because H, and I was like Spanish says you don't pronounce the H, and I knew that. I was like Juan, somewhere in Peru, and then I just like, moved on. And like I showed it to my buddy later. He's like, dude, you are like the worst presenter I've ever seen.
They get to the language like, who could have thought Spanish?
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, I was just like, okay, cool. There's just gonna be another Spanish elder just kind of like doing it like
I start in the next couple months.
Yeah, because my dad served like Dutch speaking, and I was like, I always thought it was
Did
cool.
he really?
My dad, yeah, he was the best 2 years. That like that movie. That's my dad's mission.
No way.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Which is funny because the antagonist in that movie is Elder Richardson, and that's my last name. And so I came out right after his mission, and he was like, everyone would like look at him and be like, "Are you the guy from the best 2 years?" No.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Has your dad even spoken Dutch once since coming home?
Yeah. There was one time we were at California Adventure, and these Dutch people were behind us, and they were like yakking it up. And my dad turns around and he says to him in Dutch, he's like, we can all understand you, right?
That's crazy. Mind trip.
That's hilarious.
So gaslight.
Yeah.
So what was going through your head? I mean, were you like, wow, this is cool? Were you just kind of that monotone? Did that reflect your inner feelings about it, that monotoneness? Or was it just
I think like I felt good immediately just because I'm like, all right, like I'm called to be here. I think I got that affirmation from the Spirit being like, all right, this is meant to be. But I was like, I know nothing about Peru. I'm like, maybe like llamas,
even how to pronounce
guinea
this.
pigs. Yeah, it's just like, I was like, all right, like I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna do some stuff. But I was like, I feel good about this.
Wouldn't it have been nice to listen to a podcast of somebody that served there?
Probably. Would have been cool to at least know like what I was, because I'm like we see like the humanitarian outreach into South America. I'm like, it's just gonna be freaking adobe huts everywhere.
Yeah,
it's just gonna like
right.
I'm not gonna have running water. Like this is gonna suck. Yeah. But I was like, I felt good about it, and so I'm like, all right, like well, like I was called here. I committed to this. I'm like, what else am I really supposed to do? It's just
except go and do.
Just I gotta go figure it out. Yeah.
I like it.
So what were your thoughts when you got reassigned to Scottsdale?
So that was funny because I did 6 weeks of at-home online MTC. So part of me was just like happy to just be like, I'm leaving.
Well, when did they reassign you? Were you expecting?
I was like 3 weeks into the MTC because I remember we were all there like on our
That
Zoom, and
sucks.
people were like getting their reassignments because we're like, maybe we'll go, maybe we won't, because they were just like, the mission office was like, it's the end of COVID, maybe things will open up, we'll figure things out, like we'll kind of get there. And then little by little, like someone was like Portland, Oregon, and someone else was like Layton, Utah, and I was like, we're probably getting reassigned. So I was just kind of like waiting for that, and then I got a text from my stake president, or no, he called me in like the middle of class and he was like, hey, you've been reassigned. And I felt good about it, mostly because I was just like, I realized really quickly, I had an experience really quickly in the MTC where we were watching the Feed My Sheep we watched the clip of Feed My Sheep from Elder Holland.
Yes.
And I watched it with my mom, and I thought that it really like resonated with me because my mom's a convert to the church. And it was one of those moments where I was like sitting there, I was watching.
Shout out Mo.
Yeah, shout out Mo. But she like we were sitting there and like we were watching it, and I was like, I had that moment where I was like, I really need to figure out if I like want to do this or if I'm going to be committed or if I'm not, because I'm like, I got 4 more weeks of online MTC, and I'm just like living the mission rules at home, doing 8 hours of Zoom class a day. I'm like, this sucks. And so I was like, all right. And so I think in that moment I kind of committed mentally. And then when I got the call, and I feel like a lot of people really struggled with being reassigned and stuff like that. Like I had a buddy text me at one point that was like, hey, I just got reassigned to like Little Rock. Like, how'd you deal with your reassignment? I was like, dude, it honestly wasn't. I'm like, I don't care where I go. I want to just do my, like, wherever the Lord calls me to is like where he's going to call me to. I'm going to have the experiences. It's going to be good. And I'm just going to trust that he has a plan in this. And
That's
so,
important
like,
for people to remember too.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine it's hard because, you know, I remember for my mission, whenever I first specifically got called to Pocatello, Idaho, I sat down with my dad, and he knew I was a little frustrated and upset about it, and because I was destined for Africa or destined for Zimbabwe or something. And he, you know, my dad, it was a pretty cool moment, but he was just telling me, he was like, you know, I know you have questions now, you don't know the whole story, but I promise you, when you look somebody in the eye as you're teaching them, you'll have at least one moment where you know that you knew them in the life before this, you know what I mean? And I just feel like with the whole reassignment thing, it could be really hard because, right, it's like, well, the people that I met in the premortal life that I'm supposed to go teach are in Peru right now. Like, they're not in Arizona. Or did you ever have like that thought too? Or
I mean, like in the MTC, no, I was just kind of like, let's just get out and go. Like I just want to be. But I remember like in Arizona, there was at one point where I was in like a quad man apartment, and I was like, I kind of like broke down in front of one of my buddies, and I was just like, dude, I don't know when I'm gonna go. I know I'm supposed to go. I know I'm supposed to be here, but at the same time, like it was hard because I think when I got reassigned, there was such a mass influx of South American reassigned missionaries that it felt like I was just kind of like lost in the mix. With the mission president, he was like, he's a caring dude, love him to death, and he was awesome for teaching me how to be a missionary. And like I've got we can talk more about like the role of reassignments if we want to too. Like I've got a lot of faith in that, and I recognize it, but I didn't realize it till I got to Peru. Yeah. But it was one of those things where it was like, at times I just kind of felt like, I'm like, I don't really feel like this is my mission, because it feels like people were mentally already kind of like checking out, just being like, you're kind of like, I'm like, I want to work, I want to be here, but it felt like at times people were like, yeah, we get that, we want to like help you out as best as we can, but we don't want to get too emotionally attached, because
that sucks.
We want to keep you at a distance, like a safe distance.
But there was also, again, it was like Arizona Scottsdale was zoned for like 150 missionaries. I think we had like 250 to 300. And so it was hard. And I imagine that's like, I remember the mission president's wife at one point, like the best I ever felt, she like looked at me, she was like, yeah, there's been times that like president was like, yeah, we should give this assignment to Elder Richardson. I have to remind him, like, no, he's leaving. We don't know when. But he's gonna be gone.
And that's a hard part too. I feel like our mission president had that too, of like a lot of the reassigned missionaries, especially early on in our mission. It was like, we just don't know, so we can't really unlock their what they could fully be as a missionary right now, because we just don't know.
Yeah.
And then like months and months and months would go by, and you're just like you said, just waiting for something.
Well, because you get the call, and I remember some people was like, you get the call and it's like, okay, you're leaving in like a month. Other people is like, you're leaving next week, and it's
right.
So mission presidents, I imagine that's an incredibly hard task for them to balance and to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, did you want to dive in a little bit about your testimony of reassignments? I mean, what you think about?
I'm interested.
So
I'm very interested.
So I think, like for me, like I was always really confused. I'm like, why am I getting like reassigned? I'm like, because Peru was like the last country in South America to like open up. They basically were like, we're gonna allow 50 like religious visas like a month from the church, and so it was very, very slow. Like it was most people, if you're like assigned to Ecuador, and I think this still happens today. Like they'll usually like do like a transfer in a different mission and then they're out. Or like Bolivia, they opened up, they moved really fast. Chile, they opened up really fast. Argentina, like it all just kind of like, it was crazy because I was working with my comp at one point. He was assigned to Chile and I was assigned to Peru, and both of us had visa stuff to do. So we basically just cranked it all out in a week, and then he was gone like the next month. Like it was fast. But Peru was just kind of like that one where it was like holding off on everything, and so that kind of sucked to just watch everyone go and just be like, why am I still here? Like what is going? Like I'm gonna. I feel like I'm gonna get the call at some point. If I don't, I'm happy to like lock in and be like, all right, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna do this because I met so many good people in Arizona. I loved every second of it. I'm like, I had so many friends that would text me like, dude, I miss Walmart so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I get that part of it. And so that was fun to have the amenities of the States, and it was nice to like, I feel like the States, at least from a missionary standpoint, it felt a lot more communal. I'll jokingly say that people get assigned to the States to meet their wives because like you just interact with just elders and sisters a lot more. Yeah. Hey, don't worry, she's coming, man. Maybe we'll pray for you. But no, so once I got to Peru though, it was crazy because I showed up. There's no other way to put it besides just kind of a miracle, because all of our visas. So my MTC district was all assigned to Huancayo, which never happens because that mission is ginormous. But like most people get their 5 Lima missions, their 2 Trujillo missions, there's 14 missions in Peru. Very few of them get assigned to Huancayo. Like 8 out of the
because there's just not enough people there.
Yeah, so
like
there's like 2, 3, 4 major cities, but even amongst those 4 major cities, there's like 2 airports in our mission. Oh, wow. There's like it's 16 hours like tip to tip in bus. It's like it was crazy. Just you learn how to sleep like wherever, because transfers, you're just like, you're getting on this bus, you'll wake up tomorrow morning at 5 and you'll be in your next area.
Civilized though, like y'all got like McDonald's or
civilized equals.
If you got into Huanaco and if you got into Huancayo, in the malls they had Pizza Hut and they had Burger King. And there was like one Popeyes in the mission, and that was like
Popeyes.
One Popeyes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And they were cultured.
They knew the KFC was awesome there. But no, they like, other than that, it was like nothing. I had friends who were just like, oh yeah, we went to McDonald's, or like I had my buddy at one point sent me a picture. He was in Chile. His comp had like a gold label Monster, and I was like, we've got like, oof. Not that I'm just gonna wrap myself out here. So like there were like 3 flavors of Monster. We had the mango, the normal, and the ultra.
Yeah.
And I was just like we got very few imports. I'd find like a Snickers every like maybe in one tienda in like whatever area I was in, like
what
maybe a store, like a little. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, little bodega. Yeah. But no, so when I showed up to Peru, it was crazy because I showed up on like my buddy showed up the week before. I showed up on that Monday or Tuesday, I guess, and then the mission president changed on Thursday. So I showed up to like they call it the despedida, which is like the farewell of president. And we were up. I had just done 24 hours of travel. I showed up, and they did that thing, and the president was like, after they did their whole zone conference, they gave him a bunch of gifts. They're like, hey, let's go to the mall. And the president was like, all right, let's go to the mall. And he bought everyone Popeyes. And I was sitting there like eating my Popeyes with like a whole zone. I'm like, is this my mission? This is dope. And then that night, like the AP was sitting there, and he was like looking at me. He was like, hey, like how many baptisms have you got? And I was like, what? He's like, no, like, I'm like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, I have very broken Spanish. This is like a Peruvian elder. He's just like sitting there talking to me, like, how many baptisms you had? I'm like, it doesn't matter. He's like, no, I know. But like, how many have you had? And I was like, dude, it does not matter. And he wouldn't let me go to sleep. It was probably like 1 a.m. when I finally fell asleep. But I realized, I think that was like a good precedent for the mission, where it was just kind of like, it felt broken in the sense of like what I really like to emphasize, where I'm like, I believe that the most important thing above all else is the ability to receive revelation, to act on the promptings of the Spirit. That's like, if there's one thing that you want to take away from your mission, it is your personal ability to be able to discern and move with the Spirit, no matter what. Like obedience will fluctuate, things will fluctuate. You'll learn, you'll become better. But if you can't tap into that spiritual side, if you're like sitting there and just doing things just for like the sake of just doing them, like we had what they call them la perlas, which means like the pearls, which you guys remember in the old Preach My Gospel when they had like the lesson plans. Yeah, they had the 45-minute lesson plan. They had all the bullet points, and you needed to hit every one of those bullet points to teach a principle. And so they had like a script pretty much. It was like the discussions where there's like, we have a loving Heavenly Father. He has a body of flesh and bones. We love him and he loves us. And it was just like they needed to go through them but they were so hardcore about las perlas. And you're just like, guys, why do they need to know that God has a body of flesh and bone if they're really just struggling with like faith that God even loves them?
Right.
Yeah.
And just dealing with stuff like that. There were little things like that where like I came in, they knew I was a district leader from Arizona, and the president was like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, all right, sweet. I knew very little Spanish, but I had a whole district. It was me as my companion, 6 sisters.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay, Logan.
I wasn't allowed to do call-ins with them.
Really?
They were like, you need to have the zone leaders. And I was like, why? And they're like, because we don't want you doing anything sketchy. I'm like, why?
What's going on? That
And
must be like a
yeah.
culture thing.
So there was like, no, it was a lot of COVID practices because COVID hit. A lot of people were going home.
That makes sense.
I've got plenty of stories about like just disobedience happening in my mission. I sent we had problems with elders going to the club. We had problems
Wow.
with
Is there a problem with like carnivals?
carnivals.
Yeah, dude. I had a
Um,
friend over in Ecuador, and she would get back to me. I was like, "What was it like?" She's like, "Yeah, like we got dragged to the carnival at like 2 a.m.
that's crazy.
going to
No,
like a fair," and I was like, "Okay."
I mean we never really had that. We had elders going to the club. We had, how explicit am I allowed to get on this podcast?
As much as you want.
So
let it
I
fly,
jokingly said that one elder went to go to the internet cafe at midnight to go do family history work, while the other one taught a law of chastity lesson solo with a sister in the ward. Like we had
Okay.
problems with stuff
Yeah,
like
A little bit
that.
of disobedience.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
it was a lot of like cleaning up. So there were a lot of these COVID rules put in place, and then once the president turned over, we were kind of like sitting and we were watching, and then President Higueros came in and he kind of like he had to clean up a lot of the mission. And there was plenty of stuff that like went on with that where people were just like so diehard about the president. Real quick, your mission president is assigned your mission for a reason. You might not
Yeah.
agree with the revelation, but at the same
Yeah.
time, if you don't follow it, it's on his head at the end of the day, which is like extreme, but also like
It's true.
you can go talk to your mission president and be
Yeah.
like, I don't agree with this. Let's work our way through this.
Yeah.
And so like because we had a zone conference where he was like, guys, we need to get rid of the perlas, we need to get rid of all this stuff, we need to just get in tune with the spirit. And people like in zone conference said, President, I think you're wrong. I was like, that is crazy. I almost stood up and left that zone conference because I was just like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Like there was
Yeah.
no
It's
like,
like a city council conference.
oh, it was terrible. I didn't feel the spirit. It felt
Yeah.
contentious. It was just like they were like ready for war, and I was like, what is going on? I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the mission president.
Who
Whoa.
was mostly disagreeing? Because like I've heard from some people that like were reassigned to our mission from foreign missions. They were like, yeah, like a lot of the natives were like very contentious, or like some people that were like that were American, came from the States to the mission. They were like, oh, I knew I was going foreign, so I knew I was just gonna be like off the hook and I'd be able to do whatever I wanted. So what was like, was it like a good mix? Like mix of both?
I was like the 10th like foreign missionary there, so like it
Okay.
was mostly. I wouldn't say it was necessarily like the foreign missionaries, because we did have. I think it was just like the people who were just like the older missionaries who were just kind of like set in their ways. They were
Yeah,
like
okay.
loyal to the old president till death, and I'm like, I understand that. Like he was a good guy. He did his best. He worked out like through everything. Like he was basically just trying to keep the mission together during COVID.
It's time to.
But now it's like new mission president, new rules. Like let's move forward. Let's be better. And we went from one of the I think worst baptizing missions in Peru to I think like one of the top. by the end,
Interesting.
which was awesome to see, but it took time to just get that transition
sure.
going.
Okay. So, take us through just like your first. I mean, you kind of said like your Popeyes experience and all that stuff. That was kind of your first impressions of the mission as a whole. What about like your area that you were in? What was the first area that you were in? What was it called?
So first area that I was in is called Yenig, which
Okay.
means black in Quechua, which is the native dialect of Peru.
Okay. Was it more like, was it like a city vibe? Or
No,
like
I was in
country vibe.
It was
Like-
exactly what you think of when you think of South America. We had
Okay.
the highway that ran up and that was the one paved road.
nice. Yeah,
And
that's what I was
so-
thinking.
Yeah, it was. Like I've got like
On some Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, it was legitimately. I was like in it. Yeah, I actually turned that on at one point because like we were at the pensionista's house because we had pensionistas that would cook for us and stuff. And
Yeah.
that was fun. I was at her house and she had some little kids. Pensionista is what it's called. It's like a pension. It's just like she would cook for us like lunch and dinner.
You're a servant?
Oh yeah. Well, she was like basically my mom. Like this first pensionista, I call her
Oh,
like
you-
my
you
Peruvian
live with
mom.
them, or-
No, I lived down the street from them, but like she was. It was just like
Connie's
a family.
lost.
I'm
That
so
was-
confused.
okay.
Is that a
I'm
normal
so
thing?
I got you.
Just take it back.
So pensionistas, Peru. It's like one of the last countries I think to do it. But we basically like you hire someone out in the ward to just basically like kind of take care of you. We're like we live separate, but like for lunch and for dinner we would head to the pensionistas.
Bro got babied?
Dude, it was great.
I would have loved that.
Yeah, especially when like my stomach got wrecked for like the first 3 months. I'm
Yeah.
like, I needed that woman. Like she was like, here, take this tea.
No,
I'm
that's
like,
sick, dude.
Take this tea.
yeah, this will heal you. I'm like in pain, just over in the corners, like, thank you, mom.
Yeah.
This liquor's gonna hit.
Yeah.
So you had a pensionista. Was that kind of a weird thing for you at first, or did you know about that?
I had heard about it. It was just like, it was weird for me because
But it was like, now it's here. Now we're live.
Well, because I showed up to Peru. It was already a crazy experience from like day one. Because I showed up to Peru after 24 hours of travel. Went to bed at 1 a.m. that night because the AP wouldn't leave me the freak alone.
Right.
Woke up the next day, did like a new missionary training, even though I was 10 months into the mission, where I had to like learn how to street contact people again. I was like, I've been doing this in downtown Phoenix, guys. Like, I don't think that this is not like,
We're gonna be all right.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so like, but then like I went to lunch with President and he was like, hey, you're gonna get on a bus for 8 hours and you're gonna go to your area. And I laughed. I thought he was joking, and he was not. And so I got on a bus that night, clocked out on the bus, woke up at 5 a.m., drove another 30 minutes out to Yenig with like some kid. They told me he was bilingual, and he is. Like, I love the man. Shout out Elder Sanchez. But
S-Bone.
it was so funny because in the mornings I didn't want to speak Spanish and he didn't want to speak English, and so we do like a Han Chewbacca type deal where like we just speak in our own language. But I like showed up and he was just like, "Hola, cómo estás?" I'm like, "It's 5 a.m." I'm just like, bien."
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be over here on my pillow.
Yeah, and so I like slept in that day. Like, I think we woke up at like, I told him like, I'm sleeping until 7. He's like, I'll ask the zone leaders. I'm like, I'm sleeping until 7.
Yeah.
And so we woke up, got to breakfast, and I'm like showing up at this lady's house. Like, we open like her gate. She's got this big like cinder block wall. We walk through. I'm like, there's chickens everywhere. I'm like, what the freak is going on? Like, we walk into like all the buildings in Peru are like made out of either like adobe or cement. And this was like a cement building.
Clay.
No, well,
clay.
Adobe's kind of clay, so it's like it kind of looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Who would have thunk it, huh?
Apparently Logan.
Yeah.
You know.
All right,
But
guys,
no, we show up. We were like sitting at this like lady's table, and I remember she made these little like kind of bologna grilled cheese like panini sandwiches for breakfast with what they call quaker, which is like their oatmeal, but they drink their oatmeal, which is fun.
Right.
So I'm like sitting there. It was honestly like my favorite breakfast, but I'm sitting here like trying to like what is going on? She's like talking to me in Spanish. I'm like, it is too early for this. I'm just like trying to like hash it up. I'm trying to, but then like as time went on, like I learned to love the pensionistas. Were always kind of like legends amongst missionaries, because if you got a good pensionista that like took care of you, like
You were set.
Oh yeah, because at least if you had a crappy day, you're like, I'm gonna go home to like I'll meet the Chris or I'll meet the Eddie, and we're just gonna like we're gonna hash it up with them. Like my pensionista,
That is kind of nice.
She had like 3 kids. They were all like in elementary school.
We should
So
probably
much
do
fun.
that for the States.
Yeah, it was dope.
Have pensionistas.
I mean, they get paid kind of by the church, but even then, like the pensionistas, they usually spend more than they get paid.
Yeah. Because like in the States, I feel like there was nothing worse than having a bad day and then coming home to like your pantry and just like looking at your food and just like,
Well, yeah.
I guess I'll just have sleep for dinner.
It's great value nuggets.
Yeah, just
For
so
the 10th
mad.
time.
Yeah, and you're just like, gosh.
Or when like member meal, because in Arizona we
yum
have
yum
member
sauce.
meals. When
Wake
your
up
member
the
meals
next
cancel on
morning
you.
and
Okay.
just straight.
No.
So bad. So yeah,
I know you
pensionistas,
got
like it.
shivers down your spines, bro.
Dude, that was the worst. Well, I love my trainer, but I killed my trainer on the mission, and
He sent him home.
No, yeah.
Yeah. They do it different in Peru. When you finish your mission,
You're dead.
your earthly
You get your
mission's
ticket.
done.
You escape.
You get your ticket.
Forget I'm talking to RMs about.
Our
No,
Virgin
not
missionaries.
RMs. You're talking to. Oh, you're talking.
No,
to
you
us.
guys. Like
Yes.
I'm talking to you guys, to people, to an audience that's not.
Yeah.
missionary. Yeah.
Or could be, whatever.
So
but
my end of training was my trainer's last transfer, and so he had like the song by like he had some like pop song that would play every morning. It wasn't like a pop song. It was like a Christian pop song. I forget what it was, but it was like "Give Me Strength," and so every morning it was like in a minor chord. I just hear like. It was like. Oh, all
It's
right,
funny
then
how
we'll go.
fast you can hate it too.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I love it.
for sure. So yeah, that was your kind of your first area. What was your first interactions with like people you were teaching or people on the streets or whatever?
I mean, my area was dead when I showed up. So like I was just like, all right, what are we gonna do? And he's like, we're just gonna go talk to Dots. I'm like, all right, let's see. Like I just want to like sit back. All I knew is he was like president. First day was like, hey, you're gonna district lead and you're gonna be out here with Elder Sanchez. I'm like, all right, sweet. And so we were just out in the middle of nowhere, just walking around. He was introducing me to some of our like friends, and I was like, all right, just trying to like get a hold of everything, because there were so many like reassigned missionaries in Arizona, I got 9 weeks of Spanish ward experience before I showed up to Peru, and doing Spanish work in the States is unlike Spanish words outside of the States, because at least in the States, like, you can speak English, but like living your life in Spanish was like a different thing.
Yeah.
So I learned to really love Oreos in that first area, because I was like, I just need something that's like gonna like ground me and like.
It was a comfort bit.
Yeah, and because I could get them in sleeves of like 14, and so I'd buy them for
14,
like because I'd buy them for $2.50 in terms of like soles, and soles are like quarters. It's like 33, like a sole to dollar is like a 33 to 1 ratio, 0.33 to 1 ratio, I should say.
So you could live.
Yeah, I bought Coke for like 75 cents, like the personal bottles.
Oreos in abundance.
Oh, it was great.
That's tough.
It was awesome, especially because I got paid about the same, like because I got paid nothing in Arizona. I think they paid me like $65 every 2 weeks or something like that.
That's crazy. We were like 90, and it still felt like.
I think we were 80 when we first got in, and by the end of our mission, we were 100.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys were like the rich, snobby ones.
Rich snobby areas, man.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
No, they're just like, you guys will live off of member meals.
Yeah,
like,
that's true, but we got fed all the time though. So.
We did too, but those were worse when members would like call you and be like, "Hey guys, we totally forgot that like we were feeding you tonight," and then they just leave it at that, and you're just like, "Oh."
That's why you got the pension.
Oh yeah, and Peru was awesome. I was just like, all right, like cool.
Oh, you're talking about Arizona. Gotcha.
Yeah, no, Arizona was like member meals. Peru was like only pension. Like I got invited to a few like member meals, but I was always like hesitant to do it because I'm like, I don't know, like. Because we had eating restrictions. It was like no pig, no lettuce, no strawberries.
Kosher?
In Peru?
In Peru.
Why?
Like
just because it's just like it's just food processing. It's just making sure that like things are because
okay.
you'd walk through the market. Like there was we'd walk to the zone leader's house, and there was a street that just smelled like chicken because they just like would pluck the chickens, string them up, and you just walk down the street. On the ground was just all plastered down chicken feathers that had just been like
plucked
That's and sick. Just left. It smelled like crap, but it was dope. Awesome. Like it was a dope vibe. Oh.
So you're like Benjamin sis, like pensionista. Was she keep it a buck? Was she cooking up, dude? Like was she making? What was she making? And was it?
My first pensionista, like I said, like this is like I call her like my Peruvian mother. Like she texted me on my birthday the other day. It was the best.
Wow.
She's awesome. Like she was dope. She was from the jungle, and so she not only knew how to cook like
some Rambo.
Yeah, well, pretty much. So like Peru, just so you know, is like broken up into like 3 areas. There's like the coast, the mountains, and the jungle. They call it like, la costa, la sierra, and la selva. And so like I was in the mountains for the majority of it until my last area, which was in the jungle. But she was from the jungle, and so she knew how to cook like the mountain cuisine, but she also knew how to cook like the jungle cuisine. So for my birthday, she made these things called juanes, where like you basically like steam rice and like a banana leaf and stuff like that with some chicken. That was dope. Like she made some good stuff, and that was awesome. There were some pensions that were like better than others, but like she cooked up nice. It was a fun time. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
That's fire. So
she also fed me like what are they called? Like Rocky Mountain oysters, but like sheep version at one point. But like
oh yeah, I had Rocky Mountain oysters in Denver.
Those were dope.
They're just not good.
That was so funny because like we were talking about it like as a joke. I was like, oh, people in the States will eat like Rocky Mountain oysters. She's like, oh, we do the same thing here, but like with sheep. And then like 2 days later, she was like, she was like, hey, Richard, Ben. And I was like, okay. I like look up. She's holding this bowl. She looks at the bowl. And I look into the bowl. I'm like, oh, I know what those are. No, those were raw at that point, but she cooked them later. Okay. But she was just
raw, yeah.
No, the worst was this thing called tokush. That's the So you want to hear something?
It's worse.
No, it's crazy. So in the mountains, they have this thing called tokush where they take potatoes because Peruvians need it to eat potatoes with everything. It's not rice and beans. It's rice and potatoes.
I like that combo. I love that combo.
Hey, man. You're a stronger man than I am. But they'd skin the potatoes and then they drop them in a river for like 6 to 8 months and just let them ferment. And so it takes all the minerals from the water. It smells like dog crap.
That sounds bad.
And so we tried that at one, but they'd mix it with this thing called mazamorra, which is like this kind of like jelly, kind of like pasty thing. And when I had it, it was fine. But like you could tell who was eating tokush that night because it just smelled like dog crap. And so you'd be walking down the street, you're like, that house.
Gross.
We're not knocking on that one.
Yeah. Like they are celebrating something, I don't know, but they also like they claim that thing would like cure cancer or something. They're like because it just takes the minerals from the river, and so they're just like, dude, like you can eat this. Like guinea pig was the cure to COVID in Peru.
I'm good.
And tokush was guinea pig's good, man.
I would never eat guinea pig.
Like I can't. I got to be careful saying that here in the States, but like it's not as bad. The Peruvians would always make fun of the Americans because they'd be like, they say it's a pet to you guys. I'm like, I get it is, but my dad's allergic to everything with fur, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wuss out on this. I'm like, come on, like. I'm one of you guys. I kind of want to.
Movie with like guinea pig, like superhero dudes.
Yeah, G-Force.
G-Force, that's right. Yeah.
Delicious movie.
That's right.
Delicious movie.
This movie's crazy. Yeah, I could just smell them through the TV.
No, I joke with my Peruvian like buddies who had like family in the States. I'm like, what you should do is like, because I had one friend, She was in our ward. She had family in the States. I'm like, you should just go up and just like tell your little brothers, like, hey, we're gonna go like cook dinner tonight, and just bring him to Petco and just see what he says.
Ugh.
Oh
Gosh.
man. So Logan, switching gears a little bit to learning the language.
Oh jeez.
You said you only got 9 weeks of experience going in Spanish wards. Like, what was it like for you getting to Peru? Were people patient with you in learning the language? What was your experience like there?
Yeah, so they were very like understanding of anything. Like the hardest part was when you don't speak Spanish good. If you just met people on the streets, like
My bad.
Please silence your phones
I'm
during
gonna
this.
wake up and I'm gonna be right back in Scottsdale. I swear.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I remember, like, members were usually pretty understanding. Companions were pretty understanding. Like, if anything, like, missionaries would get pissed when I'd speak English because if they didn't understand it, they were like, what are these Americans talking about? Because I was, like, again, like the 12th dude to show up from America. And,
Thought you were like sneak dissing them.
yeah, they were just like, they're talking about us or something.
Yeah, sneak diss.
But, we did, like, I remember I showed up, members were, but people on the street, like, if you spoke bad Spanish, they just kind of treat you like you were stupid, and that pissed me off. Because I'm like, I like to think I'm a decently intelligent person. And so, like, when I got treated dumb, like, that's, like, the one way to, like, really, really piss me off.
Trade bait.
Yeah. And so I was, like, sitting there, but I just eventually just learned to shut up. But I remember because I showed up mid-transfer, and then mission president turns over week 2 or whatever. Mission president calls me and is like, hey, Elder Richardson, can you train? And I was like, Again, this is like 11 weeks of Spanish work total, like 9 in the States, 2 in Peru. And I was like, I mean, if that's your revelation, President. And he's from like Guatemala. So I'm like still like trying to speak to him in like broken Spanish. And I was like, all right. And so my companion shows up, and this is I kid you not, the fastest Spanish speaker I've ever met in my life.
Oh boy.
And he was crazy. Like was
he a native?
Yeah, he was native Trujillan. I got stories on stories on stories from this kid. Like really nice, caring, sweet dude. But we had a lot of good teaching moments together. But he, like, I even had natives. He'd speak to him, and they'd look at me, and they go, what did he just say? And so I had to, like, translate for him.
So you were the extra slow guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of nice, though.
Well, like,
it takes pressure off
kind
you.
of. Well, it was just funny
You get to be
because, like,
dumb.
yeah, they'd look at him. They'd be like, "You're Spanish, like you're Peruvian," and they like talk to him like, "Oh, como está?" And he'd shoot back at them. And they just like look at him like, "What did this kid just say?" And I was like, "Oh, he said like God
So
love
you even started to get his Spanish.
Oh, I had to because it was just me and him. The nearest missionaries to us were like 30 minutes away in
That's
bus.
kinda sick,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, so it was like just us two in an apartment, and we were just like, all right, like this is gonna be fun. It sucked because
Yeah.
it taught me Spanish really fast. People were like, how'd you learn Spanish so fast? I'm like, you see that kid over there? They're like, yeah, he's kind of crazy. I'm
Yes, I
like,
am him.
yeah, I trained him, and they're like, you trained him? I'm like, yeah.
So that's how I know it.
Yeah, so I got really good really fast because I was also just like, this kid, like I can't, like I want to take pride in this area. I want to build it up. I want to make sure that like we can do all this
You ever
stuff.
tried to, like, this is a
Yeah.
really dumb question, but did
Oh,
you ever
boy.
like try to tell him to slow down?
Yeah, no, it would happen. Like I remember my first night, he showed up. He's like, and I'm like, what? And I like pulled out the phone. I pulled up the Spanish dictap, and I'm just like, what did you say? I'm like, madrugada. I'm like, okay, madrugada.
Yeah.
Like dawn. Okay, interesting word.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That was like our first. Even like when I'd speak with the pensionista, I always had like my translator open. I'm like, hola, cómo está? And just like trying to just learn it because I learned the fastest way to learn a language and the best way to learn a language, at least for me, was like to find your motivation. For me, I hate learning Spanish in a classroom. I took 2 years in high school,
Yeah.
and I decided to quit my third year because I was doing my associates. I needed college credit. I could either take Spanish 3 or I could take Arabic 1. And I was like, Arabic doesn't require me to know jack squat, so I'm gonna go take Arabic. And I don't remember any of it,
Yeah.
but I was like, at least they give me college credit. And so
There you go.
I was like, if I have to learn on the mission, I'll learn on the mission. And then I'm on the mission speaking Spanish. I'm like, well, crap, I should have taken it in high school. But like, I hated learning Spanish in a classroom environment. But when I had people that like I wanted to connect with, and I like, cause I legitimately like, I loved my pensionista. I loved my first area. I tried to love my companions to the max. Like I had 18 comps, so maybe that's more a reflection on me than it is. But like it was also because it was like COVID, people would get reassigned different things like that. Like we had the incidents of disobedience. So we had a lot of like ETs that we had in emergency transfers we had to do.
A lot
and
of people get
different
sent
things
home.
like that. Oh yeah, no, well not a lot of like define a lot.
Well, Connie can help us define a lot, I
more than
think,
10?
from his mission.
Yeah. We had a
More than 10 that you knew?
When I was there, it was probably around that number.
Okay.
Yeah,
35 to 42.
Yeah, not that
was the
many.
range.
Okay.
35 to 42.
we were good.
Yeah.
If we lost that would have been half our mission probably.
Yeah.
I think we broke 100 missionaries when I was like leaving.
I was caught in the crossfire a couple times.
Oh my.
Friendly fire.
Yeah.
No, but I think yeah, so with that, like, learning and having people to love was like the real motivator for me to like learn it. But then I wanted to make sure that with language I'm as accurate as I can be, because if I'm explaining emotions, if I'm explaining these deep things, I'm like, I want to be able to connect with people in a way that they're going to understand without a doubt. I want to eliminate as much cognitive dissonance as possible, where like they get my message and they can feel the spirit from my message. I don't want my language ability to impede the spirit.
For sure.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So you served in two different, like, vastly different places. And I just want to know, what skills did you have before you came out into your mission, and how did they help you in both Arizona and Peru? Like, I know you're a pretty sociable guy. You're an intelligent guy. Like, do you feel like you brought those were the most important things, or like what was?
Brought a lot of pride. I mean, that pride was nice because I was basically just like, I'm gonna kick butt and I'm gonna take names.
Yeah.
But like, I think that like, oh, God bless my trainer for putting up with me. But shout out Jack, man. Like,
Shout out J-Bone.
Shout out like J-Dog, J-Bone.
J-Bone.
It wasn't like a prideful.
Oh yeah,
greenie,
it's a greenie, and I was definitely like, because I came into it, I'm like,
Oh, I know you were.
oh,
I know you were, Dre.
Are you looking at me? I didn't even say
I
anything.
absolutely know you were.
I didn't even say anything.
Dre's catching
EJ.
strays.
EJ was definitely.
I was a hard.
pretty
I'll be
humble.
honest, I was a hard missionary to train, bro.
Well, you would have worshipped your trainer in high school, so.
Let's just move
Shout out
right
other
on.
suds.
So go
Let's
ahead.
move right on with that.
What we have. No, but
Just like, what skills did you
what
bring
skills?
out
So
with you that,
I
like,
think for me, like, I
helped you?
took confidence in the fact I was like, I get crap done. I'm like, in high school, I'm like, I was varsity swim. I worked the entire time. I did my associate's degree. I'm like, I always thought that, like, I'd hear people be like, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm like, the mission, honestly, like, I hate to like diminish from some people's experiences, because it was an awesome experience. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Just because, like, I when I'd have hard days, I was like, well, I could either be doing Calc 2 right now, or I could be doing this. And this is a lot easier than just trying to solve differential equations.
It's a great mindset.
Yeah, and if you don't understand what I just said, then just, like, leave it be and just be glad that you don't have to take calculus.
I just did math.
yeah.
So that's
And so it was
why
just
the
like-
mission was hard.
Did you fail math? Dude?
Huh?
Did you fail math?
No, I was pretty good at math, and I actually got a 100 in geometry, but algebra
Better than
gets
me.
So
Algebra gets him.
Gotcha.
So I'm the opposite.
So you just took that. You just took, like, your work ethic with you.
Yeah.
You feel like that helped you with.
Yeah, because
day-to-day.
like, I'll get it done. And, like, once I showed up, I'm like, oh, all I've got to do is just get up every morning and talk to people. I'm like, I can do that. Like, do I like doing that all the time? No, but I'm like, if this is all I've got to do and just basically just ask people how they're doing, like, that's not a hard thing to do. And so I was like, all right, I just got to just make sure that I'm good on that part, and I'll figure out what the Lord wants to teach me along the way.
Yeah.
What was your like finding experiences like when you got down there? I know you said when your first transfer, you're just like visiting dots, which are just people that either been taught before or being taught. What was it like? Was it door to door, street contacting, member referrals,
See, I like
Facebook.
Facebook?
you,
sorry,
did you
I
have
mean-
a phone? Or did you
yeah,
share
so
with
we
the comp, or-
shared our shared
okay.
phone, which
Good
was
to know.
that was fun at times. But we had so I refused to, like, knock doors on my mission because I was like, this is an ineffective strategy. And my trainer was also just like, we can just street contact anyway. And then I eventually just dropped street contacting because I'm like, here, quick tip for all you guys, work with members. Like, there's my buddy. He served in Chile. In Chile, like, sure, you can baptize a lot in South America. He baptized weekly in Chile, which I don't care which part of the world you're in. That's crazy no matter what.
Yeah, that's
And it was
wild.
all because he just basically went out, served with members, and then, like, once he developed a relationship with them, was like, who can we invite to Christ? And that's the best way to do it. I wish I would have learned that from the get-go. But I had to learn that toward the end, where I basically was like, all right, like, we're just going to build member activities. And like, we're going to have constant activities and just invite people to those. And then we'll slowly, like, fellowship them into the church. And then we can start talking to them about the actual doctrine. Because, like, it's a lot easier to invite someone to basketball or soccer than it is to go, hey, do you want to go, like, check out this cool, like, ordinance we have? Like, it's a little intense for people. But
It's a good tip.
I think, like, in that first area, it was just basically just visiting just people we had already known. And I didn't, like, we couldn't knock doors because in Peru, people just kind of build wherever. And so you didn't even know where there was a door half the time. Sometimes it was just like a tin slab and there was like a little number next to it, and it was like kind of like chalked into the tin. And you're like, I think that's a door. And you like knock on it and someone like will open it. But like people also have like they have their houses and then they have like their gates and stuff, and so it's like it's weird. So we
Is it the
never
whole
really
clapping thing. I know.
No, that's like
no.
more Brazil.
Okay.
Peru, it was just like a lot of it was just I visited the crap out of Grey Dots and I just cleaned, because every area book I guarantee you is messy. And so if you just show up and you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna like clean the crap out of this, Like the Lord will put
I
people
love
in
cleaning.
your path. Oh,
It
it's
I
was so
love
fun.
cleaning.
It
So
was so much
satisfying.
well, it's
Get 'em
basically
out of the
like
way.
I showed up
so
to every
satisfying.
area.
I loved turning a yellow into a gray.
No, it was the
Or
worst
yellow
was
into a
the
gray into a
greens.
red.
Nah, yellow into a red.
Gray to a red.
Yeah,
I
love
felt.
it.
I
Oh,
didn't
what's
feel
that?
bad.
I'll go. Yeah, just go die. Okay. Yeah, I got you, bro.
Just go, it's fine. No, what was it? The worst was the like when you had a comp that was like so adamant about a green dot, and then like the second that they leave, you're just like, yeah, we're dropping this guy.
Yeah,
he does not keep
Oh,
commitments.
yeah.
Which
It's
is like
been
fine.
18 months of
It's
them.
fine to drop them because maybe they're just not ready at the time. They'll come
And
back.
dropping
7
them,
interactions, baby.
dropping them essentially just means you give them to Christ for a
Passing them to
time,
Christ.
Yeah.
passing
Let
them to Christ.
grow.
Which
you
is
just,
a goated
you just hold
move.
off.
Yeah.
You just let them
Yeah.
breathe, let it breathe.
I had so many formers that were like, "Holy crap!" Like I talked to the missionaries like a year ago.
Yeah,
they were
distance
awesome.
distance makes the heart grow fonder.
It does.
And sometimes
So,
it's even
don't
the
be
ones where
afraid.
like
Play hard
you
to
know,
get.
you'll know why the missionaries kind of gave them that space. Then you'll reach out after like a year or whatever, like, dude, yeah, like what you said, I talked to them a year ago,
Yeah.
and they were awesome. I don't know why they kind of stopped reaching out.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're here
Well,
now.
it says here that like they contacted you 10 times and you
Yeah.
just never.
You don't answer your WhatsApp.
Yeah.
WhatsApp's crazy.
So it was a lot of like cleaning, a lot of member work. That's like
Yeah,
kinda how
'cause-
you were able to find people.
I mean, our mission, like I've talked to you guys a little, like we mentioned a little bit. There was already kind of some like pseudo apostate practices, and to keep their area books clean, they were basic. Like it was even a pain to clean up their area books because they were so bad about just keeping records in general that like most of the time I was just like, all right, we're just gonna like clean this up and just see what comes about. But then usually like if you're just out and about just doing stuff, like the Lord will put people in your path that you need to talk to. Like I met some, like I don't even know how we baptized in Peru because like we'd have dots, we'd have people like, and then just people would just show up in your life and you're just like, I don't know where you came from, but like we had this crazy experience with this guy. His name was Renan, and this guy was like hardcore drunk. Like this guy, like so they had this thing in Peru. It's called caña, which is like this like it's basically like condensed rum. So you get drunk off of like 2 or 3 swigs.
Yeah.
And Renan, we were just chilling after church, just talking to everyone. And he stumbles into the church and he's drunk and we could smell it on him. And he's like, he told us later, he's like, he felt like a presence like push him in.
Wow.
And we are like, okay, like whatever, he's drunk. And he's like, I wanna find Jesus. And we're like, all right, like we're just like we kind of brushed him off because we're like, he's drunk, like we don't care. We're like, all right, show up here at 7. And so we're there at 7. He didn't show up, and like we saw him later, and we're like, Renan, what happened? And he's like, oh, I'll be there like tonight. So like, we showed up, and he showed up, and we were like, all right, like still a little hesitant because we're like, we can still tell that you're like you drink every day, and we're like, that's cool. But he was like, I wanna find Jesus. We're like, all right, cool, like read this book. And then he came back and he's like, I read it. I'm like, you did? Like you kept your commitments? And he's like, yeah. We're like, okay. And so we're like setting up for baptism. He's like, I want to get baptized. And we're like, well, we have something called the word of wisdom.
So that Kanye, whatever it is.
Yeah.
What is it?
Kanye.
That Kanye.
Yeah, the Kanye drink. Yeah. No, we got
gotta
to cut
go.
that out, and it was an incredible thing because like we told that to our, we had a great ward mission leader at the time, and he pulled Renan in during like second hour, and he was like, hey, we know what you struggle with. We've all gone through our own stuff. You can come and talk to us. This is a safe space. We're gonna make sure that we have the elders quorum president and this other buddy like check in on you during the week. We're gonna make sure that you're on top of things. You have a community here. We want to help you. If you want to get baptized, we're gonna help.
So
you
there was
out.
a lot of ward support.
Oh yeah, and that's the
Okay.
night. That's why I also push them like build ward activities, build ward trust. Because if you have a strong ward, you can have crappy missionaries in a strong ward and still get baptisms, and that's like the most satisfying thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Like if you want to make something long lasting, where it's not just you baptize a bunch of people and you just like leave an area,
Build
like
members.
build a ward,
Yeah.
and then the members will just naturally do it, and then it can survive 2-3 sets of companionships that just don't want to work, and you're like you're fine. Because that was that ward. We showed up, we whitewashed in, and they were like, holy crap, like you guys actually like want to do stuff. Like we have a ward activity every Wednesday. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
all we've got to do is just bring people to you, and they're like, yeah. And
There
we're
was
like,
nothing.
okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Going to a new area, and it's like the member missionary at council or whatever, and you're sitting down with the ward mission leader, and he just tells you about their system and how they got everything set up and all the members, and it's like, oh, all right.
so
yeah.
good.
So all we
Yeah.
have to do is our job.
I'll just yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
not,
awesome.
you don't even have to do like your job in the sense of like finding people half the time. You're just like, oh, who do you know? Okay, cool. All I've got to do is just like tell you about the principles and then just
Yeah.
verify that you're like worthy of baptism. Like
Right.
I don't even have to bring people to you. Like
Yeah.
that's the best way.
A few moments where members were like, elders, 7:00 Tuesday, come over and teach this lesson to her. I'm like, all right, bro.
That's cool.
I loved
Yeah,
that.
twist my arm. Why don't you?
And usually they bring you cookies.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, throughout your time in Arizona and Peru, how would you say your testimony of Jesus Christ Or if it didn't change, growed or grew. That's the better
I
word
think
for
it
that.
always changes and it always grows. There was like I'd always ask this to missionaries because I got it from a member that always say like, "Why'd you choose to serve a mission and why are you still here?" And that I think is good questions to ask, like
For
yourself
sure.
in life. Like, why'd you start doing what you did and why are you still doing
Doing
it? But I think like the best part about my mission, kind of the part that I regret at the same time, is that I sometimes got too involved in the work and too involved in just kind of the superficial aspects of the work, I should say, instead of just developing with my Savior. Because when I was actually able to like sit down and like take my time with personal study and be like, all right, like what is it that you want me to learn today? What is it that like I can do to become a better person, to make, like, my mission president said it best. He's like, he doesn't need you to work, but he wants to work through you. And that I think is the best thing. So the better conduit that you are for the Spirit, the better you're going to be able to do overall. But like, I loved the mission from a sense of it was 2 years of self-reflection and figuring out what do I want out of my life and what does God want out of my life. Where do those overlap and where do they not, and where those are areas for improvement. Because at the end of the day, I know logically, if God has a perfect plan and I trust that he has a plan for me, then I should be in line with that plan if I want to achieve my maximum potential. But sometimes it's okay to admit to yourself, like, that doesn't always align. Like, we have those natural man tendencies and we have those things that we struggle with, and that's fine. Like, there's support on the mission, there's support in companionships. Like, you build trust with people the more that you trust them with things. Like, you have to give them that kind of fragile information. Like, you have to be willing to throw it on the altar and be like, Heavenly Father, I struggle with this. This is something I want to do better at. Can you help me with it, or can you show me a way that you want me to change so that I can become just an overall better servant? And that's what I loved about the mission, was especially as I got towards the end, realizing I'm like, I can do the work. I can get up and I can grind it out from 6:30 to 10:30. Like, that's not a problem, just getting out and going. It's figuring out the ways to be most effective and kind of cutting out all that noise, because a lot of the noise on the mission I feel like comes with like, oh, who's going to be the next leader? Who's going to, like, oh my gosh, you're such a good missionary. I'm like, I really don't care. Like, just who cares what all those people think? Like, what is God going to sit down? Like, the best moment of my mission was in my closing like interview with President, when he looked at me and he said, I feel like the Lord has accepted your mission. And that was the best feeling I think I've ever felt in my life. Just
That's
because,
awesome.
Yeah, and I remember because there was at one point the sister missionary was like yelling at me, like, because I was dorking around with one of my buddies, and we were at the pensionistas. They shared one with the sisters, and they're like, I bet you're going to be happy to like hand your tag over to your stake president, like kind of as like a jab.
Great.
And I was like, I looked at her and I was like, freak you. I was like, I hope I do. I'm like, I hope that I can like serve every moment of my mission and hand him the tag and say, I was called for 2 years. I served my 2 years. I did my 2 years. I did everything I could.
Yeah.
And just take confidence in that. And that doesn't necessarily come from other people. It comes from you going to the Lord every day and saying, what do I need? What do you need from me? Or what can I do?
It's amazing, bro. So in reflection, like thinking about Peru, is the world smaller to you now? Is it bigger? Like, how do you view that? And if you had any advice to somebody that just got their call to Peru, how do you pronounce it?
Huancayo.
Huancayo, Peru, Huancayo. What are the game changers that you had in your mission? I'm talking like either gear, missionary tools, just anything that they have the resources to now in the U.S. they can bring with them.
Find the smallest stuff you can possible. I wish I had a mini quad. My Spanish quad was the size of Arizona. That sucked to haul around because you're just basically hauling everything on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Be as efficient as you can. The hard part about Huancayo is that like you have cold and you have hot, so it's not like you can just like pack for one or the other.
Yeah.
You have to be prepped for everything, and so it's just making sure that you're light and efficient with everything. But like I always jump on that as fast as I can because I just wish, like, I loved how much stuff, like it's keeping things light. I think if you're over, the nice part is that, so I'm just for scale, I'm 5'9" and I'm about average in everything, and that's like the largest size you can get in Peru. Like Peru was built for 5'9" and below, and it was perfect because I'd sit in buses, my knees would be like right here, and I could still find shoes, I could still find everything. But if you're like taller
if you're
than
6'2", you're cooked.
Yeah, basically. Like I had a buddy who, again, I think he was like 6 foot 6'2", and he like his shoe like tore through, and we had to go to an actual cobbler and be like, hey, can you like stitch this up?
Like customize the shoe.
Yeah. I found a guy with giantism
those
in
things.
Peru, and I was like, where do you, like, I asked him, like, I don't want to like seem disrespectful, but I've got a lot of tall comps. I'm like, where do you get your clothes?
Yeah.
He's like, I get them all custom made.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jeez.
so if you are above 5'9", get your stuff.
Yeah, if you're
There.
like, cause I'm like a medium large. But again, like I was like probably a large when I left on my mission. I shrunk down to a medium because I like lost 18 pounds. But like, yeah, if you're like a medium and you're going to South America, like, or if you're fine, but if you're a large or like above, like,
Get your stuff now.
maybe yeah. But most of the stuff in Peru, like, you can just go like find it,
Yeah.
and
Do
so
you even ship stuff to Peru, or is that more sus?
you can. It's just really expensive. I think they have Amazon in Lima, but I was also just out in the boonies, so it was like
Yeah.
that was the hard part. Is like if you're in Lima or if you're in like Trujillo, it's usually a lot easier to get stuff.
Mhm.
But like we were up in the mountains and in the jungle, and the Peruvian highway system just sucks.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, just kind of wrapping up here, then, Logan. If you could give yourself well, I guess Connie kind of touched on this already a little bit, but I want to know, like, for the Arizona standpoint, like, if somebody were to open their call to, and you were in Flagstaff, right? Scottsdale.
Scottsdale flag. Now it's the Flagstaff mission. I was
So
area there, and that was Phoenix mission.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now it's Phoenix mission.
It's both. It's
Okay.
it's Flagstaff and Phoenix. Yeah.
Right.
It's
So what are the things there, like game changers or anything there that you're like, hey, make sure you pack this or don't pack this, or hey, be ready for this, because everybody knows when they think of Arizona, what do they think of?
It's hot.
Right? So like, is there anything that you're like, hey, just be ready for this, or
mesh is a nice material. But I think with Arizona it was like funny though, because like you can just kind of go get whatever you need to. I
Walmart
think,
right down the street?
Yeah, Walmart's right down. But like even like it's funny because I think Arizona was a lot more fun to just like get souvenirs from, because it was like when you're up in the mountains and like the Flagstaff mission, like I definitely got a few like lassos, and like people would get like cowboy boots and stuff like that. It was fun, but I can't think of anything like specific for. I think like for me, like my favorite thing in all honesty.
Would you say just like pack light and then
pack light?
do it
don't
accordingly
get
once you get out
shoes
there
that
kind of
have
thing?
like it used to, I don't know if you guys remember, but I think back in like 2020, 2021, it was like a popular thing to have like dress shoes with like white soles on them. Don't do that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I trashed those shoes so fast.
Just like the athletic bottoms.
Yeah, I guess for Peru too. Like if you're going outside of the states and you're not gonna have a car, find comfortable shoes. Like I don't care if they look ugly. It's function over form. But yeah, no, with Arizona, it's just kind of you'll figure it out like once you're there. Like I know that's not like a
Pack
good
light.
answer.
No, that's
But yeah.
that's a good light. Like pack light, and then
You'll be fine.
be
I think
fine.
is like that thing, because my
Yeah.
mom was stressing because I was her first missionary ever,
Yeah,
and so she was
yeah.
like, "You need this, you need this, you need this." You know, I'm like, I showed up, I ditched like half my stuff, and I was like, "All right, like we're good."
That's what I figured.
Yeah, I think I was saying in our last episode, my mom was stressing as well, and I was stressing so much. I have to have everything that I need for all 4 seasons. Like I need it right now
Mhm.
before I go, and I probably ended up leaving the majority of my stuff at my last apartment. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
but-
mean I did too. I left so many soccer jerseys in Peru, and I kind of wish that I would have brought some home, even though it's
Dang.
definitely the most like RM look at BYU.
Yeah. All right. One last question,
Yeah.
and then we're actually gonna wrap up. So just tell us one crazy story, like from Peru or Arizona, just like the craziest story that comes to your mind, and then we'll wrap up.
You guys want to hear about the time that I held down an elder that I'm convinced was possessed?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
I
fun.
think so. All in favor? Just
That's gonna be the hardest cliffhanger for Insta, bro.
yeah.
Made y'all
Go
mad,
ahead.
bro.
I mean, it was. I'll show you guys the picture later, but like we had
We'll post the
Just, like,
picture.
on
You
top,
mean?
you were on top of bro, holding it down. He's like,
maybe we'll see, because it's not just me in the picture. No, it was actually like funny.
"Come for me now."
No, here's what I've learned. Here's the thing. If any of that stuff scares you, you go out on the mission. And I think that like you like interact with like spirits and stuff like that in South America, because people believe it, and so
Yeah.
like Satan uses that a lot more. But you're just kind of like, dude, like let me sleep. Like this is stupid, because like you realize you're like, I've got power from God. Like you can't really do anything to me unless like I let you, and I'm just not gonna let you. So like just stop.
Just gonna move on.
Yeah, like it's just like a clingy ex just texting you every day. You're like, can we just please just like leave it be?
Yeah.
But no, so we had this exchange with this one elder. He was like in his last transfer. So it was me and it was my comp. We were in our area, and my comp was ending at the end of the transfer, and this kid was ending at the end of the transfer. And he was just dead. He was just like he could not get up in the morning. Like he just was just like, I'm ready to just go home. And we're like, all right, like we're gonna try to like motivate him. We're gonna edify him. So I'm like, all right, here's the plan. You are gonna go off, because his comp, the dead elder's comp was like one of my comp's like best friend. Like he kind of like pseudo trained him. And so I was like, you're gonna go off with him. You guys are gonna have a fun time. We're gonna bring our special case over to our area. I'm a lot more alive in the mission work than you are right now. And so I'm going to take him through. We're going to just hash it up. We're going to have a good time. We had a great day. It was an awesome, awesome day. Went through, talked to, because he used to be in our area. We saw a bunch of our friends, his friends. It was great. He came out of it. And like as we were like walking through home, he was like, dude, this was like one of my favorite days. I was like, that. I'm like, hey, I'm like, glad that we got to have this day. It was just a refreshing day. It downpoured on us that night. Like, it was like we were heading home, and Huancayo is funny because you'll get like micro rain where you can't even tell it's raining half the time. You just see cars like drive by, and you can see like little like rain droplets like falling. But like it was torrential downpour. I was wearing a Patagonia like puffer jacket, and it soaked through. Like, it was bad. It was crazy. And so we get home, I like dump out my shoe. I'm sitting there, and we're doing our like review after. I'm like, so how'd you feel about the day? All this stuff. I like lent him some of my clothes. His comp came over. My comp came over. Like they used my clothes, and we're like, all right, like we're just gonna sleep tonight, and we're gonna like get up tomorrow, and we'll just go back to our areas. And we're like, it's fine. And so we finish up our review. We go to bed. We turn off the lights, and we just hear, hey, turn on the lights, turn on the lights, turn on the lights. And we're like, what? And we turn them on, and he's like, I saw a figure, and we're like, what? And he's like. His comp looked at us, and he was like, "This elder had like a history of
Paranoid or something?
of just seeing things." So everyone knew about his friend Charlie, and so it was like his like imaginary friend. And so his comp looked at us, and he's like, "It's Charlie." And we're like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "I saw."
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, cool.
Charlie's right behind you.
We're like, whatever.
Whatever.
Okay, cool. Like,
Charlie, get up. Get up out of here.
yeah.
This
Tell
guy.
Charlie to get out. Like, I don't care. Tell him I'm taking I'm using the bathroom right now, man. Like, get him. But no, it's but like we're just like, okay, like, all right, like he's just having his little moment. We're like, all right, this is fine. So we go, and we're like, hey, can we sleep with you guys? We're like, all right, cool, because we had like this whole like floor to ourselves, and so we're like, all right, cool. So we get into our room, and our room's like a little kind of like trapezoid, and so my bed's on one end, my comp's on the other, and we put like a mattress. We had to block the door off with a mattress just to like fit enough like space for everyone. And so that comes into play later, but he's like sleeping below me because this guy's teeny. He's like maybe 5 feet tall, and so we're like, yeah, you can sleep on half a twin size, like you're fine. And so like we're like, he's like, have you blessed this apartment? We're like, no, we just kind of got it. And so I was like, all right, I'll bless this apartment. So I blessed it, and he told me after, he was like, I saw something go into you, and I was like, I did not feel anything. That was honestly, if you were to ask me, it was probably the best dedicatory prayers I've said in a long time. So thanks for ruining that for me.
Yeah, I felt the spirit, and now you're telling me the demon is in me.
I was like, oh, because afterwards he's like, hey guys, I'm still scared. Can someone like lay next to me? I was like, it's like 11 o'clock. I'm like, all right, dude. I'm tired. So I like lay down next to him. It's like, if this is me, like usually like we're on the other side, but like it'd be like reverse of this, but I'm just kind of sitting next to him like this. And we're just kind of like there. Like, I'm just so you guys know, in case you're just listening to this, I am right now just right next to Drayson, and this is
shoulder
to shoulder. And then he was like, I still feel scared, can you like hug me? And I was like,
Oh.
So he was
like one arm, just like I'm just like sitting here, I'm just like, this is
Spooning him.
I'm just we get to that, we're getting to that point. But then he's sitting there, he's like, I don't feel good, and he like sits up into the fetal position. He tells me that's the last thing that he remembers, and we're like, what? Because he started wailing. Like, have you ever, like, you know when it talks about wailing, like weeping and wailing, like they talk about in the Book of Mormon after like
gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, like he's like crying, like he is throwing a tantrum, and he's not moving.
He was like an audible.
I don't think your guys' microphones.
Maybe just mic down.
Yeah,
Kind of just
he's
like.
like,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
yeah. So he's like wailing, and we're like, what the freak? He's like, dude, you okay? You okay? You okay? And he's not responding to any of us. And have you guys ever seen like a baby like cry itself to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah, he did that. And so like I grab him by the shoulders, I pull him back, and he's now like laying on my chest, like, you know, like I wish my girlfriend would if I had one.
Yeah, just
Casually like but no, like, so he's sitting there, and I see like snots running down his nose, like he is out, and we're like, what the just happened? And like you're just like looking around at each other, just like, what are we gonna do? And then he starts again, and he's like crying, he's like, just like going crazy, and I grab him. I'm at this point, I'm spooning him because I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't want him to hurt anyone. I don't know what's like.
We're just gonna hold him down.
And so it goes for like 2 minutes, and it's done. I'm like, what? And then it goes for 2 minutes, and they progressively get like crazier, louder, and louder, and then it goes from wailing to hysterically laughing to nothing. And we're like, that's creepy. Like hearing the Joker laugh after someone's like wailing is not a fun experience.
You know, I just feel like Peru really desensitizes you. Because if I'm experiencing this, like,
you really are.
Well, this is like my first time with like dealing with like weird like feelings and stuff.
Like,
but
you know, I definitely had my fair share, like, you know, story, but
weird.
Well, this is also like the craziest of the crazy one. Like I had other ones where it was like we just feel like we'd have sisters call us in the night and be like, we feel like there's a ghost here. And we're like, pray. Like, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Tell them to go away.
We can't really move. It's midnight right now. Like there are no taxis to us, and we are an hour away from you. Like,
Right.
Which again,
Hands are
like,
tied.
I'm like, sisters, they can't do anything to you unless you let them. So if you just decide to be like, I'm going to go read my scriptures, I'm going to go do something positive, or I'm just going to fill my life with more light, like, there's not a lot Satan can do. And, like, it's all contingent on
Sure,
you
Charlie
just kind of,
has
like,
ways,
accepting
though.
it.
Yeah. So this guy's like,
Charlie's there, yeah.
this guy's doing
No, he's
this.
going through it, and he's, like, chilling out, and we're like, what do we do? And we call President. It's, like, midnight, and we're like, President, what do we do? He's like, have you given him a blessing? We're like, nope. Because we're, like, just confused at this point. We're like, we should probably give him a blessing, but, like, we want to talk to President, just see if he has any, like, additional insights.
Yeah.
He's like, give him a blessing. We're like, all right, cool. So I, like, full on, like, straddled the dude, just, like, holding him down, like, human straitjacket style. My comp gets up around him. Like, again, the door's blocked, and so we're in, like, a tight space. So his comp and my comp get above him, put their hands on his head, and they start the blessing. And I kid you not, I felt that kid try to run from me. Like, he immediately, like, he was like, they start the blessing, kid starts freaking out, and I'm like, okay, like, this is just hold on. I'm like, come on, like, my buddy was giving the blessing. I'm like, just finish the freaking blessing. Like, I swear, I just want to let this kid go. Like, I'm like, if this, like,
You wish you did wrestling instead of swim?
oh yeah, 100. Well, dude, I wish that from the get go, because you have every so often you have an elder that's just like, hey, you want to wrestle? I'm like, sure, and then I'm like in a
Yes, yeah,
full
but I
choker
have
hold in
wrestled.
like 2 minutes. Yeah, like that's just elders and just elders being elders. But no, like we finished the blessing, and he's like still like squirming around doing stuff, and then I felt his head go down, and he got under my arm, and I thought I felt his teeth, so I ripped my arm out. I'm like, I'm not getting bit by this kid.
Yeah.
And so I hear my comp. He's like, hey, don't bite Richardson. And President's like, yeah, I'll be there in a second. Send me your address. I'm like, all right, cool. And so, like, again, the door's blocked, and we're like, crap, now President's on his way. Like, the dude had chilled out at this point, and, like, which was really nice. Like, you want to talk about, like, faith builder and blessings? Like, he freaked out. We finished the blessing. We thought he was going to bite me, and then he was conked. The dude was out. And so we're like, all right, cool. And so I'm like, all right, now I got to get this kid to my bed so that we can move the mattress and open up the door.
Yeah.
And so I picked that dude up, and again, he was like maybe 5 foot. That dude did not feel like he was 5 foot. He had the weight of the world.
He was a fire hydrant.
Dude, he was well, even President after,
This
because
demon
like,
was like 300 pounds.
dude, yeah, he had the fattest, most obese demon up in that dude. Like, oh my gosh. So like we throw him on the bed, and like we unblock the door, and then I just love. I was joking about this at our mission reunion the other day, because like the mission president just got home. Like, it must have been the funniest thing for you guys to just walk into our apartment to just see me full spooning this kid. Because I'm like, I'm facing away from the main door, and I like pop my head up around. I'm like, yo, what's up, Prez? Yeah, how's it going? And they're like trying to like walk up to him, like, hey, like they're like trying to like console him, like, hey, like they were trying to give him an oral sedative so that they could like take him to the hospital, figure out what's going on,
Oh wow.
like take him home. He was not responding, like, hey, buddy, like it's me, like President's, like we're just trying to help you out. He's gone. He's catatonic, or he's not even catatonic, because like he's out. He's non-responsive. So,
Wow.
okay. And so President's like, okay, we need to like move this guy. I'm like, all right, we live up on like the 3rd story. We need to carry him down these stairs. I'm like, I'll do it. Just make sure that he doesn't fall. I'm like, all right, cool. So I picked that dude up, and then me and President are like finagling this kid down. Even President after was like, that guy was not
Light.
that guy was not the right weight for his size. But we get to the door, we like shuffle out, we get him into President's car. I hop in the back. My comp's like holding his head in his lap. His comp has like the most chill position ever, because you think about how you'd like lay down, like if you're on your back in like the back seat of a car, like your knees are kind of up, and his comp's just sitting there with his comp's knees up, and he's just like resting his arm, just like scrolling Facebook or something like that. Like, this is dope. Like, cause like everyone's just trying to like keep as calm as possible. So I reach over, I like pin his arms just in case he like starts flailing around or anything. We get to the hospital. Mission President's wife runs inside, and President's like, what happened? We're like recounting this story, and then we see the kid's eyes open up, and like they're just bloodshot. He looked like he was just gone, like 1,000-yard stare on me, and I was just like, what is, like,
Dude.
you good, man? Like we're like, dude, like, hey, like, what's going on? He told us later he thought he was in the mission office. Like, he was non-responsive, but he thought he was in the mission office. We're like, no, we were in President's car. And he's like, no, we were not. And I was like, yes, we were. We showed him the picture because we took a selfie while they were gone. Because like, we need to remember this moment.
Bro's casually just like having the worst
Night of his life.
paranormal demonic
Actually,
possession
And you
ever.
just like flash on.
Yeah, I'm like, this.
Selfie.
Yeah, I'm like, we need to remember this. Like, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah,
at this
sure.
point.
Yeah, 3 a.m.
And so they come. The best part was is that right at that moment when he's like waking up and he's like coming to, the doctors come out with like an injection to like give him like a bull trank or like something like that. Like, probably not bull trank. That's me being dramatic, but like they wanted to give him like a tranquilizer, pretty much. And so like they turn him on his side. I pin him down against the seat because I'm like, they're gonna give him a shot in his butt, and this kid isn't even responding to our questions. So if he starts really freaking out, I'm like, I would not be happy if I woke up from a nap and someone tried to give me a shot in my butt.
Fair.
So they gave him the thing. He like went a little crazy for a second, and he was out for the rest of the night. And I remember like I like kneeled down for my prayers that night. I'm like, Heavenly Father, I know that like I asked for like adventures on my mission, and like you definitely get what you look for on the mission for sure. With Drayson, it's a wife. For me, it was just adventures. But I was like, can we just please just find adventures that don't impede with my sleep schedule?
Yeah. Amen.
Again, it's your plan. I'm not telling you what to do, but
However, if it's possible,
I'm gonna sleep 4 hours tonight.
yeah, let me get a solid 8.
Yeah.
So did he, just to clarify, to get some closure here, he was possessed, he was sick, he was...
The doctor said that he just didn't deal with stress well, and so it just eventually just like blew up in this sense in his nervous system. I don't know why. I'm convinced he was possessed because I'm just like, this doesn't make sense medically.
Yeah, his nervous system just collapsed.
Yeah, he just decided. But I'm like, he did deal with a lot of like
I get
mental
nervous,
illness.
Like my hands get sweaty. I don't really like wail.
Yeah, basically they're just like every time something pissed you off, it just like added another drop to the bucket, and the bucket just like blew up pretty much. That's what they said.
Not
And there
even
was like,
spilled over, just,
here's
like,
some
blew up.
sedatives, just like take these sleeping pills, and like you'll finish out your mission in like 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, cool. And his comp was like scared for the rest of that. He was like, this guy's gonna wake up and like murder you in the
I
night.
think so. I would be as well.
But that was fun. So like, I wish that there was like some sort of like big like falling out, like you see like the movies like The Pope's Exorcist or something, where it's like, and then we like fought. Yeah.
Oh, the demon exit the body.
And then I had a flaming sword and different thing like that. Like that would be sick, but it was just basically just like, and we just kind of like went back to normal. Like we thought that he was gonna like go home, so like we were like packing up his stuff all that day and like different crazy things. But then like after that, I was like, we'll just finish things out. And then 3 weeks later, he went home. We're like, cool.
Wow.
Awesome.
And he did see that guy. He did see his...
I didn't see Jack Swat. I just saw him.
No. He said.
He said he saw the figure,
the
like a
guys.
silhouette of like a little boy in our like door. I'm like, all right, first off, a little creepy, but like like
That's Charlie. His little boy.
apparently that's what his comp told us. I didn't ask him
Wow.
too much about it, but.
All right.
We'll just leave this
Well,
be.
that's
Don't let
that
that
is
deter
pretty-
you.
Yeah.
Don't let that deter you, because again, like I've had every one of my buddies that I've talked to that's had like paranormal experiences. You do have a lot of power on the mission, and so
sure.
like it seems like I'm talking about this nonchalant. It's like, oh, it's because you survived or whatever. I'm like, there's really like, you really realize in the moment you're just kind of like, he can't touch me, man. Like all Satan wants is a body, and I've got that. He doesn't. Like,
Can't
sorry.
freak with you, man.
Yeah,
The end.
yeah. You're good.
He
Like,
can bite you.
did you that's where I think it goes back to just like be good about your personal study, man. Like don't
Yeah.
screw up. Be sure that if
you
you're on the
personally
mission,
you will
like,
Be
not
straight,
get
be
bit.
straight.
you're fine.
Rough around.
All right. Well, I think that's a great place to end our 6th episode. We want to thank Logan for all of his advice and all his stories and all his
Yeah.
answers to our
I
questions.
appreciate it.
If anybody's listening, there might be some demons out there, but if you're like Logan, you'll just shrug them off like they're nothing. If you're like Connie, you won't. So, okay.
So crazy.
But anyway, that concludes another great episode. Logan, thank you.
Thanks, Logan.
And yeah, just like Logan went and did with these demons and these personal studies and all this stuff, you too shall go and do in, one more time,
Huancayo,
Huancayo and Flagstaff, now Phoenix,
Scottsdale, yeah,
Scottsdale, whatever.
the valley
Arizona.
somewhere, Arizona.
Yeah, the valley.
somewhere.
You shall too go and do. Thanks, guys.